some extent, the reason I call these design sessions preparing to fail is because I'll have like one idea about how something might go, and I'll say, okay, what's another way it could go? Like, what if the party completely biffs it? What if they face this bandit crew and they fail? Like, am I willing for this to be a total party kill? Yeah, one of the earliest lessons that I learned, it's a it's a video. I'll link you guys because here's a good one, because I think that and it might be a video that I need to recreate at some point. Maybe it's my fault, but I have a video on my channel that I think dungeon masters regularly misunderstand. Let me find it because it's relevant to what you just said, Rodrigo. It's a short. It's not long. It's a minute.
Let me tell you about the first big mistake I made in the first real D&D campaign I ever ran. It's the first session, and I have a plan.
Decent amount of views. And how many comments is it up to now? Scroll. Yeah, 800 plus comments. And the vast majority of them context. So that video is about when I ran my first session for a group, first session of a campaign. And basically I didn't prepare to fail. I planned for, okay, well, we're going to do all this stuff, and then towards the back half of the session, they're going to be traveling through the woods, and they're going to run across these goblins, and then they'll engage with the goblins because they're near their town, and then the goblins are going to run off into the woods, and that's where the party will see that there's like a goblin camp nearby, and that becomes like the climactic end of the first session. Okay. Except that when the party noticed the goblins, they put them to sleep and then chucked them into the forest. And then they went back home. And I sat there in my first ever session as a DM going, well, shit. What, okay, that was, they go back to town. So then they're back in town. I don't have anything for them to do back in town, and we have plenty of time left. Okay. I think we took a break, went to the bathroom. I sat there going, what am I going to do? And I had some hackneyed way of bringing the goblin threat to mind. And I wasn't experienced enough at the time to think about okay, well, let's just carry this out. Let's see the ramifications of this, blah, blah, blah. But also with more experience, I look back and I go, I wouldn't want to, for the first session, the goal is not to punish them for not taking care of these goblins. The problem was I never considered that the party wouldn't be as heroic as I imagined they would be to say oh, what is this? This is weird. Let's be inquisitive. Let's be curious. Let's go find out where these goblins came from. I was just super nearsighted. I didn't really think about how if I want the goblins to be dealt with properly, the goblins have to be in the player's way. So that's what the video is sort of me explaining in a minute, which I think I just took 5 minutes to do that. Everybody in the comments is excoriating me for no, your problem is you didn't just let everything, you didn't just take that and then later their hometown is burned down by goblins or whatever. All of that to say, Rodrigo, when you say that you've learned to not go with your first idea while prepping, I had a similar insight, which was not to stop with my first idea. To some extent, the reason I call these design sessions preparing to fail is because I'll have one idea about how something might go, and I'll say, okay, what's another way it could go? What if the party completely biffs it? What if they face this bandit crew and they fail? Am I willing for this to be a total party kill? Or are they going to get captured if it goes poorly? And then maybe I'll challenge myself to think about something off the wall happening. What would happen in this situation if something really, a dragon shows up? I might just think creatively for a bit and go what else could happen? What if the party flies away, as they're known to do, because I forget that they can pretty much all fly at this point. And figuring out all of that stuff is usually going to put me in a better mindset. Granted, I'm just a better improver now than I was 6 years ago, but usually all of that kind of preparing to fail stuff is going to put me into a place where I can handle whatever the party decides to do a little bit better. I think that's a really important thing to learn. And it is almost impossible to learn it until you experience it at the table. That's just the way that goes. That's cool. That's helpful to know. I'm glad that you've gotten that impression. I'm really hoping like something that's unique about I think unique about me. I'm not sure how common it is because I still run so much D&D, and basically since I started running it for a group 6 years ago, it's been all homebrew, and every single week I'm basically prepping for that next session. So I've accumulated just like hundreds of these unique encounters that I've designed. Some have inspiration, some are tied to other things, but for the most part, it's just trying things out and testing them. I really like that feedback loop that the table gives of like, okay, well this worked, this didn't work, this one, I'll try it again, next time. And so I'm really eager to start bringing more encounters out into the channel and talking about them and breaking them down and play testing them on stream and then breaking that down. Because I think that the future of this stuff, like one shots are a good place to start, but really I think what people are looking for are smart encounters. That's what I was always looking for. Adventures and modules and stuff is a lot. There's always a lot to sort of handle there. Hey, Shaza. But if you're running a session and your session's coming up and you think, man, if only I had an encounter that did this, that can make your whole night. Yeah. So that's one area that I'm going to be really working hard for. That's one of the reasons that I'm getting this alternative streaming setup over there, so that I can have a table that's not a crafting space like this one to be able to lay some of that out. Look, I love all the big DMs. I watched them, all the big names to learn any of this stuff too, and they're all awesome. But all of our games aren't their games, right? And also there's no all of these heights are so super achievable, right? All of these cool moments in games can be created. They're not impossible, and it's not just, they're all wonderful creative people. But so are the rest of us, right? So yeah, I hope that people can watch the stuff that I put out and go like, well, geez, if this guy can, if he can do that. And a lot of it's a grind. It's like, if you want to write a one shot, it's like, okay, well, take a look at the last 20 hours of my stream or whatever, right? And it's like, that's kind of what I'm doing. Okay, let's write a stat block, right? Like, you can reskin a stat block, or you can sit here with this and go like, okay, well, I think this kind of feels, and I think maybe this, and somebody's going to go like, well, that's not balanced. It's like, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably completely broken and needs to be play tested. Maybe I'm sitting there running it and I go, shoot, that should be 4d6, not 5d8. But best way to figure that out is to run it.